In case you haven't seen one of these videos yet, I'm converting my actual book into an audiobook, releasing a chapter a week every Sunday. So throw it on the ride to work or save it for a workout. You're not missing anything by not watching the video. Though, I do have to add, I just visited Virginia Beach and I fell in love with basically the whole Chesapeake Bay area. And this is my dash cam from going over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge, which is super cool footage, and honestly, it doesn't even do the real thing justice. Chapter 8: The Rider Who Spit at Me. I've always loved driving Uber on Halloween. In general, any holiday is great for driving Uber from a money-making standpoint. Plus, because most people are off work and celebrating, the riders usually have good vibes. All Hallows Eve is especially enjoyable, however, due to the fun of seeing adults play dress-up and, most importantly, the wholesome and conservative costume today's modern woman chooses to wear. I drove to a nearby college town knowing that was where the highest earning potential would be, and to reiterate my earlier point, the sights of a college campus on Halloween were a nice ancillary benefit. The night was going great. I was making way more money than usual while taking in the extremely creative costumes college girls wear, ranging from slutty nurses to slutty schoolgirls to slutty, honestly, insert any profession. There was even one girl I saw wearing a short black robe, and she had cut out the chest area to let those puppies breathe. I wasn't sure what she was going for until I saw the gavel in her hand. Obviously, she was a slutty Supreme Court justice. Of course, she could have been just any old regular slutty judge, not necessarily one for the highest court in the land, but hey, just because every time the wind blew, her ass cheeks were exposed to the entire world, doesn't mean that she couldn't have had the highest of aspirations, right? All night long, I saw every variation of slutty costumes, but perhaps my favorite was found among a group of girls I drove home right before the bars closed. When I asked them what they were dressed as, one girl, who was practically in lingerie, responded, "Nothing really. I just wore the sluttiest outfit I could find." Ah, so a slutty slut. A woman of culture, I see. I dropped that group off right as surge pricing hit its peak, which meant my next request was going to be a payday. Within moments, I get a ping to pick up an Alex at a bar. On my way there, I kept thinking about how much I appreciated that last girl's assessment of her own costume, and thought about every other outfit I saw while driving. And it got me wondering, on a night that you can literally be anything that you want to be, why do the overwhelming majority of women choose to be sluts? I wanted to dive into the implications of that, as I thought it might help in man's never-ending quest to understand the fairer sex, but before I could, I pulled up to the pickup spot. There was a group of 6 standing on the corner, and everyone is dressed for Halloween except for one guy. And that guy turned out to be Alex, the one who requested the Uber. He comes up to my car, confirms I'm his Uber, and motions to his friends to get in. He sits in my front seat with a beer bottle in hand. Before I could even address the bottle, I saw all 5 of his friends trying to squeeze into the back. Whoa, hold up, I said, looking at 5 drunk adults in costumes smushed together in the back of my tiny Honda Civic. "I'm sorry, guys, I can only take 4. No, we're good, just go," Alex said. I wanted to say, no, you're not, get the fuck out of my car, as there are few things that piss me off more than someone getting into my car and telling me how to conduct my business. But, like I said, the surge pricing on this particular ride was insane, and if I canceled the trip, I might not get another one at this rate. Since nothing creates patience like the potential for a huge payday, I kept it respectful, using my go-to excuse of, there's just so many cops out tonight. I'm sorry, but I just can't take more than 4. Alex went from 0 to 100 real quick. "This is fucking bullshit. You know what I paid for this? You're taking us. Let's go." Again, this kind of behavior would normally warrant a cancellation, but the amount of shit I'm willing to put up with directly correlates to how much money putting up with it will get me. "I'm sorry," I said, cringing at myself for apologizing to this asshole. But hey, that's the game we play in the service world. Really, I can only take 4. Despite my calm demeanor, Alex could tell I wasn't going to budge on this. "Fuck you then," he said, and ordered his friends to get out. "Gee, thanks," I said. He slammed my car door hard enough to spike my blood pressure, but I was still willing to let this go. He slammed my car door hard enough to spike my blood pressure, but I was still willing to let this all go until, that is, he slammed the beer bottle onto the trunk of my car and kicked my rear panel as he was walking away. I put my car in park and got out. As I walked to the back of my car to see if there was any damage, Alex, who was walking away, started mocking me, saying, "Oh, that piece of shit is fine." "You better hope it is," I said. At this, Alex stopped, turned, and charged at me, looking like he wanted a fight. He was coming from about 10 yards away, so I had time to gather myself. I didn't charge back. I knew that would only escalate things. But I did take one step forward to show I wasn't going anywhere. I balled my fist and raised them to my chest. Not high enough to explicitly say that we are now in a fight, but high enough for him to know that I was ready. Every time I pull up to an Uber request, I size up just about every passenger from every ride just to have a bearing on my course of action if things were to go south. I knew from the jump that Alex was not a big man, and other than his beard, there was nothing about him that was the least bit intimidating. "What the fuck are you gonna do about it?" Alex said, still coming toward me. Like in any adrenaline-pumping situation, time had slowed down and I was processing a million things every millisecond. If this guy was going to get in my face, especially with 5 friends behind him, there was no way I was going to wait for him to hit me before I felt justified in swinging. And my fists were clenched, locked, and loaded with every ounce of disrespect and disregard I've ever received, not just from Alex, but from every other entitled, rude, ignorant person I've come across while Ubering. And I was ready to unleash that bottled up fury directly onto Alex's jaw. And he's getting closer and closer and closer, and my fist is ready. And the moment before he's within striking distance as I'm homed in on my target, his beard caught my eye. That's a weird beard, I thought. Wait, is that fake? I looked at the rest of Alex's face with its soft features and smooth skin. Then I took into account his short stature and wide hips and noticed long hair creeping out of his beanie, which matched the rest of his 90s skater type outfit. And it dawned on me, Alex did dress up for Halloween. As a boy. I unclenched my fist and let my hands hang the moment before it would have been time to swing. She got right in my face and said, "What the fuck are you gonna do? Hit a girl?" Then, in a very ungraceful motion, she turned her head to the side before flinging it forward, trying to spit on me. For the sake of the story, it would be really cool if I could say that I dodged her saliva Matrix style, but this idiot timed her spit wrong and ended up getting most of it on herself. Now, her friends seemed to have been disinterested from this whole situation the moment Alex started giving me pushback in the car. They had a sort of "here we go again" kind of attitude. And after the failed loogie launch, one of them finally yelled out, "Alexandra, leave it alone! Let's go!" As she walked away, I wrestled with my emotions of anger, naturally, but even more so, I was in total shock. Of course, I hated being treated like that, but I couldn't believe how close I was to knocking this bitch's block off. I mean, if I swung, there's a 95% chance she hits the ground, and Lord knows the ramifications that would come with that. Meanwhile, my only defense would be victim blaming. Like, how the hell was I supposed to know? It's her fault for not dressing like a total whore like every other girl. Now look, I fully understand that this circumstance was the result of a very convincing Halloween costume, but it made me wonder, for every other day of the year, what the heck is the etiquette when it comes to fighting with the transgendered community? Everybody seems to agree that equality for the sexes stops when things get physical, as there's almost no justification for hitting a woman, even if she is hitting you. But the question nobody ever asked is, how does that pertain to somebody who used to be a woman but is now a man? Or what if they started as a man but now identify as a woman? And how do surgical procedures play into this? Like, if a chick has a dick, can I throw a fist? Or what if a dude with a cooch gives me a smack? Is there no excuse for me to hit back? These are legitimate questions that need to be addressed as long as we're going to entertain this gender blender disquisition. But to add to the disrespect and turmoil, I was incredibly pissed that I missed out on the busiest part of the night. The surge pricing was now gone, and if I canceled this very long, very profitable trip, I'd only get $5 for the cancellation fee, as opposed to the nearly $200 fare I'd get for the insane surge pricing that was attached to that trip. So not only did this bitch treat me like a piece of garbage, almost tricking me into committing assault and battery with a side of social suicide, but she quite literally impeded me from putting food on my table. And that I could not abide. Since I already started the trip in the app, I knew that if she canceled, I would get most, if not all, of the fare. The problem was she wasn't canceling it for that very reason. So I went ahead and completed the trip anyway, driving half an hour to that bitch's house without her or any of her friends in my car, getting myself the full fare, and calls and texts from Alex the entire way, begging me to cancel so she could call another Uber and avoid getting charged. I'm not saying it's right what I did, but if I'm being honest, I don't feel the slightest bit of remorse for it either. They've always said, if you come for the king, you best not miss. It would seem the same applies to your Uber driver. Bitch. Hope you guys enjoyed the story. If you want to grab your own copy today, head to eddiepdoyle.com. Link is in the description. The first 10 people to use the code COSTUME will get 25% off their entire order. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next Sunday for another installment.